Ferrari just introduced the F80. The F80 is the latest member of the Ferrari hypercar family. The new flagship is part of the Big Six, or should we say Big Five, because the 288 was built with a completely different purpose, right? You see, the 288 GTO was built for the later cancelled Group B racing series. While the F40 shares its DNA with the 288, the F40 was built to celebrate the 40th birthday of the Ferrari company. So the Ferrari F40 was not built for specific racing purposes, although it raced in different classes, of course. And if you want to know more about the 288 GTO, my friend Mark and I made a podcast about the 288 GTO. Yes, we did. Check out the link below. Hi there, my name is Mark and welcome to the Man Cave. I was just 7 years old when Ferrari introduced the Ferrari F40. As a kid I was all into Ferrari. Even when I was 3 I only wanted red cars, toy cars. And I had posters, I had magazines, I had lots of toy cars and toy cars and toy cars and toy cars. And all I wanted back then was to own one day a Ferrari 308. And then they launched the F40 and I fell in love. The Ferrari F40 is the ultimate Ferrari for a lot of Ferrari fans. Beautiful and uncompromised, yet deadly, and at the same time unforgiven. Over 1,300 F40s were built. For reference, my version of the 308, over 1,700 were built, and I reckon there are more surviving F40s than 308s. Anyone out there want to barter a 308 for an F40? The Ferrari F40 has a twin-turbo V8 engine, and that's something that most turbo haters seem to forget nowadays, because they're hating on the 488. Well, the mother of all supercars has a twin-turbo V8. The F50, the successor of the F40, has a V12 engine coming directly from the Formula 1. It's basically a Formula 1 car with a code. My first impression is that the F80 shares that philosophy with the F50. The F50 didn't receive as much love as the F40, but it's a true work of art. And unlike the F40, the F50 was limited in production by 394 cars. And that's when Ferrari decided the clients are never right. You see, Ferrari customers had a voice back then. When Ferrari started building the F50 GT, I don't know, the most iconic Ferrari ever to come out of the factory, the customers, sued Ferrari because Ferrari promised a limited production run on the F40. Ferrari had to abandon the project. Ten years later or so, Ferrari launched the Ferrari Enzo, named after the company's founder Enzo Ferrari. I still think they should have called that one the F60, but what an amazing car that was. Like the F50, the Enzo had a limited production run, 499 units if I was correct. but this time with terms and agreements to benefit Ferrari. This way Ferrari could produce the FXX and the FXX Evolution. The Ferrari Enzo's design was controversial but functional. You had to learn to love it, and I think it looks stunning now. Did you know that the Ferrari 599 has the same engine as the Ferrari Enzo? Now you know. Ferrari ended the special series or the big series or the hypercar series, whatever you want to call it, with the LaFerrari. That should have been called the F70 if you ask me. But again, it's okay. The LaFerrari has a hybrid V12 engine and was completely on a different level compared to all the models they were having in their lineup at that time. But remember that the LaFerrari is already 11 years old. And yes, we had a LaFerrari Aperta, we had the XX series in between. But 11 years, it was about time that we get the F80, right? According to the press release, the F80, like its predecessors, is a showcase in technology and performance. The V6 hybrid powertrain delivers a combined output of 1200 horsepower, making it the most powerful Ferrari ever to come out of the factory. Every aspect of the F80 is conceived to maximize performance, from the carbon fiber chassis and extreme aerodynamic solutions far beyond anything seen before in a road legal car, to the new active suspension optimized to let the driver wring every ounce of performance from the car on the track. The F80 is claimed to be a track-orientated supercar that's just as drivable as a production range model. The architecture of the F80 is so extreme that the layout chosen results in a narrower cabin with a driver-centric layout, which nonetheless still offers excellent space and comfort for a passenger. This choice had crucial benefits in terms of minimizing drag and weight. The cockpit area therefore has a distinct single-seater feeling, despite the fact that the car is homologated for 2 occupants. Come on! As always been the case with the Ferrari supercars preceding the F80, the powertrain is based on the finest expression of technology in motorsport. Today, in both Formula 1 and the World Endurance Championship, the WEC, powertrains consist of turbo V6 ICE internal combustion engines mated with an 800-volt hybrid system. The F80 shares the same architecture as used by the 499P that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans twice in a row. In the F80 though, the powertrain is further completed by the introduction of an electric turbo technology, which, with an electric motor installed between the turbine and the compressor of each turbo, allows for an extraordinary specific power output and instantaneous response from low down in the rev range. Aerodynamics play a key role on the F80, with solutions such as the active rear wing, rear diffuser, flat underbody, front triplet wing and S-duct working together to generate 1000 kilograms of downforce at 250 kilometers an hour. The F80 will be produced in a limited run of just 799 examples, and if you are chosen to buy one, you get 7 years of free maintenance from the Ferrari dealer. Well, that sounds great, and basically what it means is that this thing is fast, expensive, and it has a direct relation with racing. It's a good thing they called it the F80 because it's an F80. F40, F50, F60, F70, F80. And like I hoped it would, it shares the same philosophy as the F50. So it's a good benchmark, right? But can a hybrid V6 be a good flagship when you have the 12 Cilindri in your lineup? Or what about the McLaren W1? Now let's compare some numbers of the F80 to the 12 Cilindri, as they call it, and the recently introduced McLaren W1. We'll start with the 12 Cilindri. The engine. The Ferrari F8 has a hybrid V6. That's half of an engine of the 12 cylindry, which is a V12. The overall horsepower that's generated by the engine is 1200 for the F80 and 830 for the 12 cylindry. A lot more. Maximum speed is limited with the F80 and 350, and the 12 cylindry Ferrari says it's over 340 kilometers an hour. 0 to 100 or 0 to 62, 2.15 seconds, 2.9 seconds. The F80 is faster. 0 to 200, 0 to 124 miles an hour, 5.75 seconds versus 7.9 seconds. Way faster than the 12 cylindry. Stopping the car from 200 with the F80 takes about 98 meters, and the 12 cylindry has to stop in 122 meters. That's the difference. Overall weight, the F80 weighs about 1525 kilograms, while the 12 cylindry, I love that name, weighs 1560 kilograms. So the answer is yes, the F80 has better numbers. But then again, the 12 cylindry is a GT, so we're comparing apples with pears, or however you call it in English. They're not really comparable.
Yeah, but what about the McLaren?
Okay, I hear you. The McLaren W1. Is the F80 better than the W1? Taking the same numbers, the engine overall, F80 has a hybrid V6 and the W1 a hybrid V8. Overall horsepower, the F80 has 1200 horses and the W1 1275 horses. Top speed, both cars are limited to 350 kilometers an hour. 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 in 2.15 seconds for the F80 and 2.7 seconds for the W1. 0 to 200, 0 to 124 miles an hour, I mean, you know what I mean. 5.75 seconds for the F80 and 5.8 seconds for the W1, very close. 200 to 0 or 124 miles an hour to 0. I said it, 98 meters for the F40, F80, ding dong, and the W1 needs 100 meters exactly, one soccer field. Weight overall, like I said before, the F80 weighs 1525 kilograms, while the W1 weighs 1399 kilograms. Yes, the F80 is heavier than the McLaren W1, but somehow it has better numbers. It has less horsepower, better numbers. So the winner for me is the F80, yay! That was weird, right?
Okay, I get it, but what do you think?
Well, that's a good question. Thank you. What I think? Well, first of all, let's take in mind the looks of the car. Overall, I think it's a pretty good looking car. I have to see it in real life because the black parts, I don't like black roofs on modern Ferraris. Yeah, and the black strip on the front, not really for me. I think it's not working, especially on the new designs. The 12 Ferrari that destroys the car, the back, but never mind, not bashing here. So the design, overall, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm still missing Pininfarina, but I'm giving this one an 8. Performance-wise, yes, this is the fastest car that left the Ferrari factory. The fastest road legal car that left the Ferrari factory. But somehow the V6 is not working for me. And why is that? Because it's not working for me in racing. Formula 1 sucks. It sucks. 24 Hours of Le Mans sucks when they drive those small itty-bitty engines. I want roaring V12s. But then again, it works in the numbers. So I don't really know yet. If I could, would I buy it? Maybe. if I had about 25 other Ferraris that are in the list of things I want. But overall I'm pretty happy. We finally have a Ferrari hypercar again. By the way, I'm thinking about that one. What about the SP3 and the SP2 and the SP1? Don't they belong to the big 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Or is the iconic series, what? Ferrari, explain!